October 30th and we are off on another parks adventure. Our ending point for tonight is Tucson, Arizona, and we're going to stop in and see the west side of Saguaro National Park. The park is split by the city of Tucson, so you have a west side and an east side. So tonight, after we check into the hotel, we're going to venture out and explore the west side. We've checked into the hotel and now we're headed over to the west side of Saguaro National Park. It's a little bit warmer than the Weather Channel had originally predicted it. When I had been following everything, it looked like we'd be in the mid-70s, and it's currently 86. So we had to change clothes back at the hotel just to be in more weather-appropriate attire so we wouldn't get too hot. The visitor center is currently closed. It's only open until 2. There is a sign that says if you have a park pass, you don't need to show it. So we should be good to go. According to this, it talks about the desert life and the different animals and species. Hopefully we don't run into this guy, the Javelina, because he looks pretty big.
We're just walking over to like a little viewing area here at the visitor booth. It's pretty impressive.
We are right here at the visitor center, and our plan is to drive up, do this nature trail, and then this is a gravel road here. So we're going to do the loop. I think it's anywhere from 6 to 9 miles. I've read a couple different things. And then potentially this Valley View Overlook and the Petroglyph Trail are also on the agenda. Before we get back on the road, we're going to walk the Javelina Wash Trail. It's about 600 feet long and goes behind the visitor center here. So the sign did say there's rattlesnakes, so we certainly have to be on the lookout where we're putting our feet as we're walking. Watch out for the cactus.
One last thing before we leave the visitor trail, we're going to hit the garden cactus trail. It's just another short little walk around here, and it has a whole bunch of different varieties of cactus here. So we're going to go check it out.
About the Palo Verde, and it says this tree protects young saguaros from direct sun, cold weather, frost, and predators. So that's the Palo Verde back there with its green branches.
So that's going to do it for the cactus walk. We probably saw, I don't know, 15 or so different variety. They weren't all cactuses, but they'll definitely live in this desert climate. So we are off to our next stop.
We are getting ready to start the Desert Discovery Trail. It says we are in the midst of the Sonoran Desert, green with strangely shaped plants and teeming with ceaseless activities of insects, birds, and mammals, all dependent on each other to win the daily battle for survival.
How long is it?
This says it's a half-mile level loop trail.
We've got a little bit of cloud cover, just a little bit. The temperature really feels actually very nice. I mean, it's still hot, but it feels much better than it was when we got here, you know, half hour ago or so. So here's a fun fact. Cacti supply most of the water as well as the food for and shelter for many of the desert inhabitants. Who would have thought?
Mind blown.
This is a nice little hike. It's a paved road, and then along the way they have some benches that you can rest at or just take a stop at and look at the scenery, which is very nice.
Our cactus has an old grizzled face. Here's his like missing eye, and then his other eye, his mouth.
That cactus behind me looks like it's doing the Carlton dance. Although this is only a half-mile loop, it really feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. We can't even see our car where we parked or even see the road. It feels really like you're just in the middle of nowhere, so it's actually pretty cool.
It's like we're lost in the desert. We're finishing up the trail. A lot of cacti that you're able to see, a lot of saguaros, obviously, for which the park is named. And we even got to hear an occasional bird as we walked the trail.
Yeah, one thing that sticks out is these cactuses are pretty big. I'm sure they're not the biggest ones there in the world, but just being so close to them, it's pretty cool to see the size of them.
We just entered the Bahada Scenic Loop. It had said in the literature that I had read that it was a gravel road, but it looks like it's just a pretty, graded dirt road. So it's about 6 to 9 miles, and off we go. At the Valley View Overlook Trail, and it looks like this is supposed to just take us to an overlook where we can see a bunch of cactuses. But before we go, check out this cactus that's getting arrested. He's like, I'm going.
Unfortunately, with the sun behind it, it's very difficult to see, but Kelly is right. It does look like he's getting arrested. So we just saw the sign for this trail, and it looks like it's supposed to be 0.8 miles total. And then along the way, there's supposed to be 30 different species of plants we're supposed to be able to see. So here we go. This is actually a very good time and day to see the park. You know, it's not as hot for one, but two, the sun is setting, and so you get the different types of shadows and everything. And makes the colors and just makes everything so much better to look at versus if you're here during midday when the sun's just, you know, basically at the top of the sky.
Golden hour.
That is right. That is the golden hour for photographers. So we are starting to run out of daylight, so we're gonna pick it up a little notch and walk pretty fast.
finished up the trail, the one thing that we noticed is that even though there's signage, it's not very clear and concise. The path does crisscross and intersect with a bunch of other different paths, and sometimes the arrow that's pointing to isn't really pointing exactly towards the path. So we believe that we hiked and finished the Valley View Trail, but we could have ended up on another one. At any rate, it did take us through the desert. And we even saw a couple of photographers taking advantage of the golden hour. So this is our last stop of the day. We are here at the Signal Hill Trail. It's about a half-mile trail that leads to some century-old petroglyphs by the Hohokam people. So we're walking up to a picnic area. That's one of the main things also here at Signal Hill. But with the steps and the terrain, you definitely couldn't bring like a wheelie cooler in here. You'd have to carry everything by hand.
So you know who made this picnic area?
The CCC,
Which stands for?
Civilian Conservation Corps.
The more you know. We have made it to the area where the petroglyphs are. Now we're just going to try to go and find them. We made it to the top of the location where all the petroglyphs are located, and just from our vantage point you can see a ton of them. So it's actually pretty cool, and we can get pretty close. They have a railing up here, but we still get 5-10 feet away, and they're pretty visible. Also, we have a pretty good view of the sunset here at the top of this little hill. It's very nice.
So that is a wrap for today on the first leg of our Southwest National Park tour. I would say that probably the highlight for me was ending the day at the petroglyphs. Just getting a little bit of the history of this area was pretty awesome. So that is it for today. Tomorrow we head out towards the east. So a little bit of bonus footage for you as we're walking back to the car. I'll be honest, I wasn't really sure if I would enjoy this park, mainly because it's a desert, and you may have noticed in other videos I am not a fan of the heat at all, but overall, so far it has been rather enjoyable. Just getting to see all the life that really has a chance to thrive and grow out here, and then ending it with the petroglyphs and a little bit of history and culture of what makes this area what it is. So sometimes it's nice and good to be surprised by your surroundings.
Here's one more little bonus footage for the video. We actually had a pretty good day here. We left about 7:30 this morning, and it took us about 7 hours or so to get here, but it was definitely worth it. The time of the day that we got here was just about perfect. I know we talked that it was a little bit hot when we started, but eventually that cooled off pretty quickly, and we just got here pretty much like right when the sun started to set. We had about 2 hours, or hour and 45 minutes before the sunset, and it just really made all the colors that more vibrant and just really nice to look at, and made the park like super enjoyable. So I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Kelly there for her spectacular planning. What do you say to that?
Thank you very much.
So tomorrow is going to be a little bit kind of the reverse of this, because we're going to start the east end of the park in the morning. So hopefully we'll get the sun going up on there, and then we'll get it there before it gets hot. So we will see you tomorrow.